What's up, everyone, and welcome back to my top 20 best movies of 2013. And if you didn't check out part 1 where I took a look at the honorable mentions, the movies that just did not make the cut, and of course 20 to 11, go check that out. It's up right now, and you should go check that out before you do the 10 to 1, because that makes sense. You gotta see what I liked before I liked these movies, if that makes any sense. So anyway, let's get into it with, of course, my number 10 film, my number 10 favorite film of 2013. The World's End is my number 10, which a lot of people actually forget this movie came out last year, which is very sad considering it is an amazing, hilarious movie. And of course it is the end of the Cornetto trilogy, which of course started with Shaun of the Dead, then it went to Hot Fuzz, and then The World's End. And perfect, because the last word in The World's End is end. So it's over. If you didn't know, the end. Get it? So anyway, this movie's hilarious. I love this film. And I really love that in the first two films, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, Simon Pegg played the well-mannered guy. I mean, he might play a dimwit, he might play a police officer, but he's still well-mannered. And of course, Nick Frost always plays either the dim-witted nice guy or the dim-witted douchebag guy. And I love that. I love that about those two, but in this film you have the role reversal. In this movie you have Simon Pegg playing the douchebag, and then you have Nick Frost playing the well-mannered guy, and I love that. And the whole premise of this film is them, along with a bunch of other friends, going to do a pub crawl, drink as much beer as they can, and, you know, whatever. And I love that premise, especially what happens towards the end of the film. Not even the end, more like halfway through the film. The big twist, if you didn't see any of the trailers, I'm not going to spoil it here. It's hilarious. The movie is extremely well shot, has a lot of really good special effects at times, and it's really, really funny. It's so funny. It really is. So many memorable lines. It's extremely well written. I don't really have much else to say about The World's End, because I can't really spoil what happens halfway through the film. You have to go see it yourself, because The World's End is pretty freaking good. I loved it. So The World's End is my number 10. Let it go, let it go. Frozen is my number 9. So anyway, yeah, Frozen is my number 9. Of course, the movie that made $1 billion at the box office. One of the biggest movies of last year. And hell, one of the biggest movies of this year, because it's been making a lot of money in this year too, which is crazy. But, I mean, it's been out for months now. It's coming out on DVD in like 2 or 3 weeks. It's still making money, man. It's making too much money. So anyway, Frozen is a really entertaining film. It's a very heartfelt, very emotional film too. Not like emotional, I was crying or anything. No, definitely not. But it's a movie that was not exactly what I expected, because the first trailer of this film showed a snowman and a reindeer being goofy, going, oh, that's my nose. Oh, the reindeer wants nose. Oh, you gave me back my nose. If you saw that trailer, you know what I'm talking about. It was very like cheesy and just, I wasn't looking forward to it. And then the movie actually had a real trailer, and then it showed what it was actually about, and I was like, oh cool, it's about two sisters. One of them is a ice queen and the other one is a, you know, just regular girl, and they have to, you know, come in terms with each other or whatever. It looked really good, and I saw it and I loved it. I mean, a lot of great music in the film, really very catchy, very sing-alongable songs, especially Let It Go, which I was referencing in the beginning. Let It Go is probably my favorite song of last year. Really good, very catchy, very empowering to women out there. So I'm not one of them, but I'm pretty sure it was. It's great to see that there's not really a main male character. It's just two females. It's two sisters. And I mean, there are male characters, don't get me wrong, and they are kind of main characters, but they're more side characters compared to the two female characters, which I liked. So I really loved it. It's beautifully animated, a lot of fun, very funny, especially with the snowman, which was very surprising considering I didn't think he was very funny in that first trailer. But he's actually very funny in the film, has some really funny gags. And what I really like is that snowman doesn't become an obvious gag where he just like freaks out at moments or something, and that's supposed to be funny. No, there's actually a part where he gets impaled on an ice pick, or like on a piece of ice, and he goes, oh, I just been impaled. Okay. So I love it. I love it. So Frozen is a great film. It's my number 9, and it's my favorite animated movie of last year. Dallas Buyers Club is my number 8, and oh boy, this movie touched me emotionally. And I know a lot of people are going to put in the comments, a movie about AIDS touched you emotionally? I bet it did. Yeah, yeah. You leave a comment like that, and we'll hit you with this. So anyway, don't do that. So anyway, Dallas Buyers Club was a great film. Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto just completely stole the show. And don't get me wrong, everybody else did a good job, but Dallas Buyers Club was their movie. It was, and they won the Academy Award for male lead and male supporting actor, and they deserve it. They are great. They are fantastic in this film. I love both of them. I love them. I love them. I love them. But anyway, this movie is very emotional, very. I don't even know what else to say. It's not really a movie I could talk about too much. It's very emotional. That's it. It's very well paced. It's very entertaining to watch. Both Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto have both completely different personalities, but when they're together, they're just electrifying. They have great chemistry with each other. And sadly, that's probably my only complaint, is that they're not on screen enough, I think. But still, when they're on screen, they are perfect together. They really are. And I just love what the movie is about. It's, again, I guess a true story. I'm pretty sure it's based on a true story. And it is an amazing true story. I love this film. I really do. There's not much else to say. It's very well written, very well directed. Cinematography is great. The performances are amazing. It's a really entertaining film. So if you want to go see an Oscar movie that knows how to become a really entertaining film, definitely go check this out. Don't get me wrong. There's other movies that are in the Oscars that are getting awards that also deserve it. So don't take that the wrong way. So anyway, there you go. Dallas Buyers Club is my number 8. Fruitville Station is my number 7, and again, it's based on a true story about a man who got shot and died. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. This movie is emotional. I have a lot of emotional movies in this top 20 list. Oh god, this movie really got me. When I saw it back in like August, I absolutely loved it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was just a really emotional film about a real man who's trying to get his life back together, and of course, it ended. I mean, it ended abruptly too. It wasn't like he did anything. It was just like, oh, I need to stop this fight. Bang, dead. And it's just a really sad story. It really is. I love this film. And of course, Michael B. Jordan, I think, got snubbed for an Oscar nomination. He is amazing. He is amazing as, what's his name? Oscar Grant, I think. I don't know if that's right, but again, he's amazing in this film. It's a really touching film. It's very well shot too. It's a very low budget film, you can tell, but it feels like you're with him throughout the entire time. It doesn't feel like there's a camera there. It feels like you're just a watcher. You're just a guy that's just there watching his life, and he doesn't know that you're actually there. There's moments where he's like spending time with his kid or with his family. Very emotional. It's just there to let you know who this person was as a person, of course, and you just get to see it, and it's really a beautifully made movie, and it's really tragic. It really is. Fruitville Station, I loved, and I think it got really overlooked at the Oscars. So yeah, Fruitville Station is my number 7 film. I loved it. The Wolf of Wall Street is my number 6. Completely different from Fruitville Station. This is actually, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it is. It's based on a true story about a true guy, Jordan Belfort, who is the Wolf of Wall Street. And this movie, oh god, The World's End and This Is the End are two hilarious films. And like I said, The World's End as a straight up comedy film is hilarious and probably my favorite comedy of last year. This movie isn't just a comedy. But oh boy, is this movie 3 hours of pretty much non-stop hilarity to me. It is so funny. This movie is extremely well written, frantically directed, which is good. I mean, for a movie like this where there's parties everywhere and Leonardo DiCaprio is chewing the freaking scenery, you need frantic direction. And of course, Martin Scorsese is an amazing director, and he just does it perfectly. There's so many great scenes in this film that I just love. Oh my, the Quaalude scene. There's a car whizzing by, sorry about that. But the Quaalude scene is probably my favorite scene in any movie last year. It's so hilarious. Leonardo DiCaprio, even though I love Matthew McConaughey in Dallas Buyers Club, and he definitely deserves it, I think Leonardo DiCaprio deserved it as well. And he was so good. He led the movie. Everybody else was great too. Jonah Hill, Matthew McConaughey, who was also in the film. Everybody was great. But Leonardo DiCaprio stole the show, and he was both hilarious and just scarily real. Very real. And I loved it. Wolf of Wall Street is a movie that is 3 hours long. It is 3 hours long. It's like 2 hours and 50 something minutes, but it does not feel that long. Oh boy, it's such a fun time. It's Martin Scorsese. He can make a movie that is long feel short because he does such an amazing job. It's hilarious. Go check out The Wolf of Wall Street. I loved it. Star Trek Into Darkness is my number 5, which I know a lot of people are going to get confused about this. You think Star Trek is better than Fruitville Station, Wolf of Wall Street, and Dallas Buyers Club, and Captain Phillips? What's wrong with you, Gore? I love the original Star Trek movie, the 2009 one. I loved it. I thought it was probably my favorite movie of that year, after consideration. I actually like that more than District 9 and Avatar, and I personally love Avatar. But this movie... oh my god, I was so excited for it, and it did not disappoint. Amazing action, great special effects. I love the special effects. The villain is probably one of the best villains in any movie of last year. I was about to say it. John Harrison, Benedict Cumberbatch in the film, is amazing. He's such a good villain. So sinister, but also very quiet, which I love. You just look at him and you go, that's an evil dude, but maybe he's not. I don't know. When you're watching the movie at first, you're like, okay, maybe he just got set up. Maybe he's not that evil of a guy. Who knows? And he's just so good in the role. Of course, Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana, Simon Pegg. Everybody is amazing in this film, as, of course, the crew of the Starship Enterprise. Everybody does a damn good job here. Carl Urban as Bones. So good. The action is just so much fun. The dialogue is really funny, very well written. The direction is great. It's very well paced. I love this film. I really don't know what else to say. Star Trek Into Darkness, a lot of people... I know a lot of people had complaints for this film, but I think most of the people, including the critics really love this film. And it's actually, I think, the highest rated blockbuster film of last year, if you don't count Gravity, which you can because it's a blockbuster. But I'm pretty sure this was like the highest rated summer blockbuster. Definitely. It's definitely the best, in my opinion. I love Star Trek Into Darkness. There you go. I love it. I love it so much. My number 5 was Star Trek Into Darkness. Rush is my number 4, and this movie got completely snubbed at the Oscars. Hell, even the Golden Globes realized that this movie is amazing and gave it plenty of nominations. This movie is amazing. First of all, it's one of the most tense movies I've seen in a very long time. If you don't know the true story, which a lot of people most likely don't, then it's one of the most tense films. There's a whole scene in this film where someone has to race on a very wet track, and that's really dangerous in racing like this. And if you just make one screw up, you're dead pretty much. I mean, you're just gonna either get really badly injured or you're gonna die because you crash and boom, dead. And this movie is extremely tense, and it really does show the humanity in both the drivers, Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl, in this. And excuse me, Academy Awards, why wasn't Daniel Bruhl up for a supporting actor? He was amazing in this film. I mean, Chris Hemsworth was great as well, but Daniel Bruhl stole the show here. He is so good. What happened, Academy Awards? Why did you completely say, screw this movie, but you put other stuff in there, like Lone Ranger for freaking visual effects? I would have accepted this better for visual effects. I mean, sure, there's no special effects, but what I saw with my eyes looked way better than freaking Lone Ranger. So anyway, I love this film. I really did. All the acting, the tension in the film, the racing was extremely well shot. Some of the best shot racing I've ever seen in my life. It's a very entertaining film, very funny at times, but very serious too, which is good because when you have some funniness to a movie that's actually based on a true story, yes, another movie that's based on a true story, you also have to have that serious side, and I love that this movie definitely did. So Rush is my number 4. Definitely go check it out. Her is my number 3 film, and I absolutely adored this film. I didn't get a chance to review it when it first came out, but let me just tell you, I love this so much. It's a movie about love, friendship, separation. It's very tragic at times, but it's also actually a very funny, very endearing film with a lot of really likable and very realistic characters. Of course, Joaquin Phoenix plays a man who just got out of a relationship that was starting off really good. They loved each other, and then it just trailed off from there. And of course, he gets an AI because this is set in the future. Very realistic portrayal of the future, by the way. And of course, gets an AI named Sam, played by or voiced by Scarlett Johansson. And they actually start to fall in love with each other. The AIs in the future are really very smart, very intelligent. They will respond either comedically or sarcastically or whatever to humans. They have real emotions. So it's a really awesome sci-fi romantic, I would say comedy, but more drama. I loved it. I really did. Her is a great film. Great acting from everyone. It's a quiet film, but you have to watch it and you'll most likely love it. 12 Years a Slave is my number 2 film. This movie, what do I have to say? I mean, it won the Academy Award at the Oscars, which is great because it's an amazing, emotionally heavy film. I mean, it's really it's really hard to watch. It's a very tragic film about, of course, slavery. Most likely the most realistic portrayal of slavery ever put on film. It's a very hard to watch movie. It's actually kind of hard to talk about. The acting in this is all extremely believable. Everybody does an amazing job. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Lupita Nyong'o, who of course won Best Supporting Actress in this film. Everybody is just amazing in this. It's such a emotionally heavy film. I really don't know what else to say. It's brutal, it's unflinching, it's really tragic, and it is beautifully directed. So many amazing scenes. There's a whole scene with Chiwetel Ejiofor just looking at the camera for like maybe 3 or 4 minutes, and it's just him thinking about what's going on, and you're just like, wow, this is a beautiful film. And it's just, ooh, it's so hard to watch though. It is really a brutal film, but it definitely deserved its Oscar for Best Picture. It's so good. So yeah, if you want to know more about what I thought about 12 Years a Slave, go check out my review. But oh boy, it's an unnerving film. It's so good, and it's my number 2 best movie of 2013. Gravity is my number 1 film of 2013. It is a movie that when I left the theater, I was completely blown away. It's a movie that is actually very simple and actually kind of short. It's only like 90 minutes long, but it tells its story, makes you really like the characters, shows you amazing spectacle after amazing spectacle, and completely gets space right. Now, okay, maybe I shouldn't say completely because I wasn't in space ever in my life, and I never will be after seeing this film, but there's just so many moments that I just never went, there's no way that could be possible. There's no way that can happen. Like in so many other films, there's no sound in space, so it's very eerie. There's so many really great shots in this film that are just very haunting. There's a lot of amazing, like, beautiful scenery. There's shots of just like all these little effects happening in space. I don't even know what to call them, but just like colors happening. I don't even know what to say, just colors. I'm not a smart man, but there's a lot of like colors and, you know, like stuff going on. There's just so many amazing shots in this film. I was blown away just looking at the film. But then when you get into the story, sure, it's a simple story. It is. But Sandra Bullock is a really likable main character here. At first, you don't know who she is, but during the film, you actually start to understand who she is. Not even just like plot progression, just by like circumstances that happen to her. And she talks a little bit to George Clooney, and then you get to know more about her past. But you get to really like her just because of all the things that happen to her. And that's very hard to do in a film, I think, at least. George Clooney is always likable. He's a guy that can tell a bunch of stories and just be very entertaining, just like he did in this film, and I love George Clooney. And again, the special effects are astonishing in this film. There's just not a single moment where I was just like, the special effects are a little iffy here and there. There's just so many amazing special effects here. And what I love about this, it's an extremely smart movie, very well written, extremely well directed. Alfonso Cuarón definitely deserved that Best Director award, but the thing that really impresses me the most is that it's short, it tells its story, it shows everything it needs to show, and it's extremely entertaining, and it's so tense. It's one of the most tension-filled movies I've ever seen. This and Rush, the most tense films of the year, definitely. It's an amazing film. I don't even know what else to say. I keep saying the same thing. It's amazing, it's amazing, it's beautiful, it's amazing. But that's really what it is. It's a beautifully amazing film. That's really it. I don't know. Gravity, I love. I really do. So go get Gravity on Blu-ray 3D. It's amazing on Blu-ray 3D as well. Got me plenty of times with the, you know, the 3D effects. I love the film. It's astonishing. And I love 12 Years a Slave, and I love everything else on this top 20 list, but Gravity really just took me and just didn't let go until the end. And when it ended, I was just like, you know what? Grab onto me, Gravity, because I want to go back on for another ride. So there you go. Gravity is my number 1, my favorite movie of 2013, and of course that is the end of my list. Finally, I was able to complete it. I still have to do my top 20 best video games of 2013. Oh, God. And then I have to do a bunch of reviews. Jesus. I'm going to be very busy, but hey, I got some free time, so let's get on to it, baby. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and goodbye.